Chapter 1, Under Siege. At Union Station in Washington, D.C., I leaned against a massive white pillar and waited for Linda Tripp, until I saw her van fly by me and stop at the passenger pickup divide. I walked up to her, waving to get her attention. "I'm sorry," Linda burst out laughing. "I didn't mean to pass you by. I didn't recognize you." I chuckled back. Linda was in a disguise too. She wore dark glasses and a chin-length black wig. What am I doing? I should run. This is nuts, I thought. The FBI got me this wig after they put me into a safe house days after the story broke, Linda said as she fiddled with it. The words FBI and safe house robbed all the "this is nutty" thoughts from my mind when I climbed into her van. She put her foot to the gas pedal and we took off with the US Capitol's marble column in our view. Life before the FBI bought Linda that wig carried us back to January 1998, to when allegations first surfaced that President Clinton was having a sexual relationship with a former White House intern, Monica Lewinsky. At the time, the Pope's 5-day visit to Cuba to call for freedom headlined the news. It was a historical moment because no Pope had visited Fidel Castro's communist Cuba before. Meanwhile, back in the United States, an American civil servant's life, and the lives and legacy of Bill and Hillary Clinton, were about to change. I knew what the public knew. I wanted to know what it was like behind the scenes for a person who lived through it. It was early evening, January 20, 1998, when an unfamiliar white compact car had pulled up onto Cricket Pass, a quiet suburban cul-de-sac in Columbia, Maryland. The car parked across from Linda's home where she had lived since 1981. Someone hurried out of the car to her van and inserted a handwritten note through her window wipers. Later, a replica of the note was taped to her front door. "Linda, call. Urgent. Must speak to you. Tomorrow is too late. Sue Schmidt, Washington Post." Read the note. As dusk dimmed to darkness that brisk, snowy night, a virtual brigade of press descended upon Linda's home. Hordes of cars maneuvered through the dead-end street. Throngs of people elbowed their way closer. Flashbulbs flashed intermittently. In the frenzied urgency to get the next Clinton White House story, press crews unraveled their camera equipment onto the sidewalk. Their lighting kits beamed brightly over the glistening snow, aimed at Linda's house. All night long, the press watched, waiting. Some wore night vision goggles. By early morning, swarms of television crews, topped off with 6 satellite trucks, lined her narrow cul-de-sac. The media's vigilance continued for days. Meanwhile, bedlam ruled inside Linda's home. The alleged Clinton pursuer was now the pursued. Sneaking peeks outside through the plantation blinds in her family room, panic and compounding fear ripped through her. She stepped away from the window as though knocked back by fire. With the help of her kids, they frantically and haphazardly hung sheets over any uncovered windows in the house, to try to block the media's gaze. Walking in lost, aimless circles, the Tripp family had nowhere to go. In the background, the family room TV was on, where commentary hissed and long-winded speculation about President Clinton's sex life provided repetitive, sparse hard news updates. The world exploded on our front lawn, determined her then 21-year-old son, Ryan, to his mother. He wasn't kidding. 3 days earlier, on January 17, 1998, Matt Drudge's world exclusive had broken online on his Drudge Report, Newsweek kills story, 23-year-old, former White House intern, sex relationship with president, followed by controversy swirls around tapes of former White House intern, as star moves in, Linda's tapes. Since the Drudge Report, the intern, Monica Lewinsky, was calling Linda from various payphones to tell her she was going to sign it, the affidavit in the Paula Jones sexual harassment case against President Clinton, denying she had had a sexual relationship with him, and in doing so, commit perjury. Judge Kenneth Starr's Office of Independent Counsel, OIC, report tells us that at that same time President Clinton was calling his personal secretary, Betty Curry, and his pal, Vernon Jordan, 2 people who knew Lewinsky. Then Curry, on behalf of the president, tried reaching Monica using their established code name, Kay. Hillary claimed she was oblivious until her husband woke her up on January 21 and told her, "There's something in today's papers you should know about." That something was the Washington Post's bombshell confirming Drudge's world exclusive. A former White House aide surreptitiously made tape recordings of conversations she had with the former White House intern describing a relationship with Clinton. Allegations of suborning perjury, false statements, witness tampering, and obstruction of justice closely followed. Linda, under a media siege, felt like a prisoner in her own home. Super lawyer Robert Bennett, the president's personal attorney, said, "The president adamantly denies he ever had a relationship with Ms. Lewinsky, and she has confirmed the truth of that, and I frankly smell a rat." Former Clinton strategist Dick Morris took a poll for the president and found, "They'll forgive the adultery, but they won't forgive the lying," hoping President Clinton would sort of let the public down gently. Well, we just have to win, don't we? Later that day, back at the nation's capital, the then leader of the free world, President Clinton, sat down for a TV interview with PBS's Jim Lehrer. Confidently, and with no hesitation, he alerted the nation, "There is no improper relationship. I did not urge anyone to do anything that was untrue." Back in Linda's home, she shuddered when she watched. She knew she was in so much trouble because President Clinton was lying. The coldest chill racked her body when her doorbell blared yet again. Behind her double-bolted locked door stood another flower arrangement from the press, who'd been posing as deliveryman. "I guess they hoped I'd be lured to the front door for a comment," Linda said. But that night, paralyzed by fright, she couldn't move from her couch. She didn't know what to say to anyone. An hour's drive away from Linda's house, a fax machine hummed. Ronald Perlman's cosmetic empire, Revlon, rescinded its New York job offer to Monica Lewinsky, whom they met through a friend of the president. Back at the Clinton White House, it was damage control time again. In days, First Lady Hillary would serve as her husband's chief defender. Meanwhile, back at Cricket Pass, the media stakeout continued outside Linda's house. Later she'd learn how a savvy 14-year-old neighborhood boy had rented out his bathroom for $3 a pop for the immobile press to use. Smart. He can probably put himself through college twice. Linda said to me, joking at the insanity. That January night, "Wake up! Wake up!" had screamed in Linda's thoughts, "Wake up from this nightmare." But it had only just begun. Now, helicopters were hovering above her house. Desperate for silence, an hour into the media siege, Linda turned, her phone ringer off, but thought she'd better check her voicemail. When she did, she found that it was jammed full. Message after message emptied out from people she recognized from television, who called her unlisted number. "Hello, I'm calling on behalf of Barbara Walters," said one. "Ms. Tripp, please call Larry King at 30," said another, interspersed with frantic calls from her mother, in Morristown, New Jersey, who'd gotten cable TV for the first time in her life a week before. When Linda heard her name on TV, she plunked down the telephone receiver. Her unsteady legs walked her from the kitchen into her family room. "I couldn't believe it," Linda recalled, as she had watched in horror and disbelief with her kids when she was given the wretched title, Chief Conspirator trying to take down President Clinton. As the shock and nausea penetrated her bones, Linda prayed hard. "God help me." She couldn't catch her breath.